What's up, family? We just finished week 10 of The Artist's Way. This week was a little bit hectic. I just started a new job and I worked 24 hours this weekend in 3 days. So I was kind of all over the place, low-key, but that's okay. I missed a couple morning pages, but I made up for it in the tasks. So yeah, let's start at the beginning. Week 10, it's about recovering a sense of self-protection. The first chapter was Dangers of the Trail. So Julia kind of talks about our blocks as creatives, and how we use them to kind of like, when things feel like they're moving too fast, and we do realize that it's up to like you to make your life the way you want it to be. It's kind of scary because that means you have a responsibility, and that scares a lot of people. So she kind of talks about how some people might reach for food, drugs, alcohol, sex, a ton of different things, and how those are just another version of like the creative U-turns that we were talking about last week, that we kind of do to ourselves just because we're scared of the next steps. But as you work with those blocks and you kind of like acknowledge them, they stop kind of getting a hold on you. So she talks about like, if you feel anxious, use anxiety, and like use the energy that you feel from that anxiety to go keep creating, go keep doing like the tasks or things like that. I noticed one of my blocks is a little bit my phone, because I'll just get frustrated or like nervous, like scared of starting a new project or finishing a project, and I notice I'll just go on my phone for like way too long. And so instead of doing that, I've started to just like put my phone in the living room, or like or I'll keep it in my room, but I'll put it up where I don't hear a buzz or any notifications or anything. And I didn't realize how much more focused I am when or how not focused I used to be when I was making music sometimes, just because if I hit like any bump, I would take like so much time away from it to kind of like reset. But all I needed to do is like push through those little like spurts, and the workflow went much quicker this week. So that was probably one of the most significant things I worked on this week, which was cool. And then the next chapter, she talked about workaholism. She had us make this sign that I threw up right here. Is it gonna be backwards on the camera? Maybe. It just says workaholism is not a block, or is a block, not a building block. So I definitely, like I've said in a couple other videos, have an issue with just like putting in work. And if I'm not working, I feel like I'm wasting too much time. So made sure I made that sign and everything, but mostly just she talks about how it can be like an addiction. And that's why she says that it's easier for people to do the morning pages, and a lot harder for people to do the artist day. And like I said, multiple times I've missed the artist day, but I barely missed the morning pages, which I'm doing every single day. So that's kind of crazy, but it proves her point. But I'm excited to get back to the artist date later. But for now, anyway, so then she had us do this workaholism quiz. It's basically just a bunch of statements like, and you select seldom, often, or never, or you circle them. So it's like, I cancel dates with loved ones to do more work. Is that seldom, often, or never? I postpone outings until the deadline is over. Seldom, often, or never. And then you just go through those, and it kind of shows you how much time you give to yourself and how much time you're giving to work. And that's another thing that I kind of been thinking about a lot this week is like, I feel my, like I started dropping songs this year consistently in June, and in the process of keeping up with that, it's kind of felt like work. The music has, and I don't love that feeling, but I know that's like gonna be part of it when I'm trying to do so much with it. But at the same time, I feel like it's because the workaholic in me kind of took over, and instead of looking at like my vision of what I want with my art and like where I want to go on my creative journey, I was more like output for like the past like couple weeks. And so this week kind of like backchecked me and was like, whoa, slow down. Remember what you're doing. You're making art. You're not providing research. So I kind of just like this week kind of stopped me on that, which is a really good thing. Next, she kind of talks about droughts, which is cool because I feel like I don't hear a lot of artists talking about droughts. You hear like writing blocks, but even then, I hear in interviews all the time artists saying, I don't get writing block. I write, I'm always inspired. I don't need anything to be inspired. I just write. Maybe that's true. Not true for me. I have spurts of inspiration, and if I don't like act on it, then I'm gonna lose that feeling, and like it's tough for me to get that same like passion or enthusiasm that I had when I had that first thought or that first inspiration feeling. So this was kind of cool to read about. This definitely hit. And she talks about how you just gotta like push through, like keep writing the morning pages. That's how you get out of the dry seasons. Keep going on artist dates and things like that, and that's how you overcome them. And I've never really thought about it, but looking back on all like the times that I've felt like not making music or stopping, that feeling ended when I started making more music. So makes sense. She's making good points. Next chapter, I think it's the last one. Oh, no, two more. Fame and competition. So fame, she talks about how fame can kind of turn into, I like this chapter too. This week was really good. This chapter is good too. When you're doing like an art, for example, writing or music or painting, I guess any art, and you're trying to make money off it, it usually comes with wanting to be famous. And she talks about how the chase for fame, as much as it can feel like success, it's not. That's not like the goal. It's more of you asking yourself, how am I doing, instead of how's the work doing, or is the work doing well? It's all about image. And so that kind of kills your art when you're just worried about how you look or the reactions you're getting or how many people are watching you. And that's pretty obvious, but she does talk about some ways to get around it. And one of them is sending yourself little fan mail, which I didn't do, but I kind of wanted to try it because I think it's kind of funny and I love getting mail, so that's chill. And that was kind of the end of that chapter. And then the last one, competition. she just kind of taught, same thing with kind of fame, how focusing on it kind of just creates a block, and there's no reason just because someone else has something that you can't have it. And you got to remember that. Hey, bro. You know that. Where was I? Competition. So she talks about how it's like a, what'd she say? It's a spiritual drug. That's what I was looking for. So it's a spiritual thing, and the spirit of competition, opposed to the spirit of creation, urges us to just make something that's gonna be the best idea ever. It's like focusing on the end product when you have nothing, and so it makes it like impossible to make the final product. But it gives you this like, it's all about temporary like satisfaction, instead of like looking for the baby steps, basically. And yeah, that was the last chapter. So I did want to talk about, do I want to talk about the artist day first? No, we'll go through the task first. The one thing I did want to say about competition, I feel like a lot of the times that I have like that block for myself, like go on my phone and not make music or things like that, it's fueled by competition. Like I'll go on my phone and scroll through Instagram and see another artist that's like doing crazy numbers or things like that, and that's automatic. Obviously, it's kind of human nature to see something you want and want it, obviously, but that like keeps me going through that creative block, because now I'm afraid to start my project because I'm going through my phone and I'm seeing like so many people or so many artists that are doing what I want to do, and I'm all the way back here. So yeah, very much a block for sure. But the task this week just gave more tools, and I feel like over the past 10 weeks I've gotten so much better about like sitting down on my phone and scrolling through, but this week for sure like pushed me way past it. Anyway, let's move on to the tasks. The first one is called the deadly. So you take a piece of paper, you take 7 little strips from it, and then you write alcohol, drugs, sex, work, money, food, family and friends on all of them, and then you're gonna put them in like a little bucket or a hat or whatever. Then you pull each one, and then you write down 5 things, 5 ways that affects you negatively, and you could pull the same one twice, 3 times, whatever. You just do that. How many times do we do that? 7 times. And so that was a good exercise. It's a little depressing, but there's better tests, so it gets better. The next one was touchstones. So I made a little, it's sitting on my nightstand, but you just basically make a quick list of like things you love. Her examples were like river rocks, worn smooth, willow trees, cornflowers. I did like, I did red and gold colorway. Let's see. The sound of busy cities. Those crystal rocks that are like in the desert, but they're just like, they look like crystals in the middle of nowhere, which is kind of sick. Sparkling water. Rings. Morning coffee at my pop's house. Mama's cookies. Navy blue, pine green. What did I even write right here? plums. I did not write plums, but I did, but I don't think that's what that is. I don't know what that is. I wrote that one really fast. I usually don't write that bad. But yeah, that was a good one. And then there's literally only 3 other tasks. The tasks that my heart does a thing. There's only 5. There's been getting less and less tasks every week, which is cool because it makes me like focus on the ones that I'm doing, which I think is probably the point. 3 was the awful truth. So you just answer questions truthfully. This one I liked a lot. Bottom line, it's basically just setting boundaries for yourself. Like if you're working a job where you're working way too late, and your bottom line would be no work past 6. And so one of my bottom lines for this week was, and I think I'm gonna just have it, whenever I'm making music, my phone's not in the room, or my phone's like off. Yeah. Oh, the other one I did was I'm not smoking before I write, because I always get stumped. Like I'll write like 8 verses, bang, done, and I'll get to the 9th bar, it's over. I can't, I'm at a stump and I can't push through it for like an hour and a half. If I smoke at all, I'll just be sitting here. It's over. Like I can't keep writing. So when I'm writing, I'm gonna stop smoking. That's what I did this week, and I actually wrote a lot more than I have been. But yeah, that's been chill. So that was another bottom line I did. I had like 5 others, mostly around music. And so yeah, and then the fifth task was cherishing. And so it was just like list 5 small victories, list 3 actions you could take to comfort your artist, make 3 nice promises to yourself. Very chill stuff, very whimsy stuff. So yeah, check-in. Already talked about the morning pages. I missed a couple. Not very cool, but yeah. Hopefully won't do that again this week. Oh, artist date. That's what we have to talk about. I just like made music for like hours on Thursday. I only have 1 class on Thursday. So after that, I just came home and I sat down and I just shut my door, put on my headphones, and just made a bunch of music with no like pressure on making the beats into a song or posting it or anything like that. It was literally I made a block of time for myself to just fuck around with music. And I can't like tell you the last time I did that. Every single time I get like in studio mode, it's got to be a song that I'm gonna either have in the backseat or post or something, and I'm always keeping it. This time I just like everything I made. Some of it I kept, but most of it I just trashed. Because I just wanted to make it and I wanted to have the idea and whatever. But some of them I really like, so I did keep a few of them. But yeah, that was fun. I also picked up this shirt with a crab on it from the thrift store. But that was like a mini artist date. That wasn't very long. But yeah, everything's been good. I'm kind of working more than I want to be with school and music and everything right now. But that my schedule should change and that should be chill. And then yeah, I'm like, I grinded hard this week to get back on track with content and everything. So I'm feeling less stressed about that. Sunset Smoke drops in 6 days, and I got most of the videos ready for it, so that's super hype. Yeah, I will see you guys. Well, actually, I won't see you guys next week. You'll be seeing a music video because that's when Sunset Smoke drops. And then the week after, we will do week 11 and 12 season finale together. Fire. I'll see you then. Peace.